I think 2018 is going to be our first war on Christmas, just like full out mall shooting.
I want to I want I want an actual war on Christmas. I want like Christmas trenches and like,
oh yeah,
Christmas tanks. You know,
I'm of the faction that believes we need to wage a perpetual war for Halloween.
Till Halloween absorbs every other holiday.
Exactly.
For perpetual Halloween.
Yeah, it's people don't know this, but Leon Trotsky originally came up with the concept of perpetual Halloween, where you go into other countries that don't have Halloween and you make every holiday Halloween.
I feel like there's a metaphor for going in and taking their resources and stuff.
No, just their candy. All of their candy.
All of their candy. You set them free, you take their candy.
Exactly. Liberate them from their candy.
I think that's honestly possibly the only thing that could unite leftism.
What? A war for Halloween to take over Christmas?
Exactly.
It's dope. I approve.
I don't want to shoot my load too quick, but he unfollowed me on Twitter, eh?
Oh no.
But I didn't even know Boogie. Oh,
he followed me on. We followed each other.
Oh my god!
But it was a hate fuck follow. He followed he followed me, and then I like waited a couple days and followed him back. But he like hate fuck followed me.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's the one that sent you like that huge like wall of text in your inbox, didn't he?
No, I think that was Flying Over Trout.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that was him. It's impressive to see like the lengths he will go to be liked by everyone. You know what I mean?
Boogie was like fucking arguing with me, which is like whatever. Like I'm always gonna like I don't want to say come off as civil, but I could tell he was trying to get me to be like an asshole so he could screenshot something and
hell yeah.
Be like, oh, look at this guy, and then it's like justified when I get a bunch of fuckweeds coming after me.
Nice.
Which is like so like I would always like know when to pull the reins and like back off. And then I guess he pissed off Brianne somehow, and she went on her Twitter, and he was like responding to her, and it's like Brianne is the scrappiest person I know. She will pull out any stop to piss someone off. I love her.
Awesome.
It is very awkward that when I contacted you, because it's like Brianne and Matt, and I'm like, okay, who am I talking to?
We like it that way. You never know. It was like 50-50. You're going to get one of us tonight.
How do we know you're not just Brianne with like a voice changer?
We don't.
I guess you don't.
Damn.
Or that this is Brianne's voice.
I like this level of mystery.
Yeah. This is our spooky Scooby-Doo episode for Halloween. Can you discover who Matt really is?
Pull off the mask and it's Boogie.
Oh my god. The whole time he's infiltrated our podcast to convert us all to centrism.
To tell you about the logical sane middle.
Hell yeah. Oh, I'm so ready to talk about the logical sane middle. Are we ready to begin?
Yeah.
Ready when you are.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Video Games Are the Worst Thing on Earth. I am Alton, your host. With me as always is Reese.
Hello, it is me, Reese.
And today we have a very special guest with us, Matt of Brianne and Matt on Twitter and YouTube.
Hello. Hi.
Yes, and we have a very special episode planned. Our first duck hunt, if you will, of the podcast, dedicated strictly to talking about everyone's favorite centrist, Boogie 2988. And
I am aware of Boogie, but I have not, until his like big, notable, extremely offensive things he's said. I was not on his, his greatest hits.
His recent one
are really all I'm aware of. Just kind of vaguely is like, oh, this sounds like this guy's a dipshit. So I look forward to being the student to my dual senpais here.
Indeed. As a loathsome gamer, I must admit that I have actually watched Boogie in the past and was at one point a subscriber of his, probably up until like the 2016 election, where just like I got sick of his annoying cowardly centrism. And so, Matt, what is your history with Boogie?
My personal history with Boogie, if I'm pulling from our scrapbook, is I basically released a video called Boogie 2988 in the Logical Sane Middle. And like I was making fun of him because he came off as like a piece of shit on the H3 podcast. And I was just kind of like making fun of some of the stuff he said. Like there was a lot of really bad stuff he said, but like I was really just picking on him, like kind of ribbing him, like kind of friendly until the end, where he kind of like tokenized the death of Heather Hare, but like blamed Anita Sarkeesian for some reason.
100% one of the hottest takes in gamer history.
Like, take that, video game feminist.
Anita Sarkeesian, how could you have done this? How could you have gotten behind the wheel of that car in Charlottesville and run over that protester? How could you?
Other notches on Anita Sarkeesian's belt include JFK, RFK, and
9/11.
Definitely 9/11.
God, it is well known that Osama bin Laden was a gamer.
Yo, he actually had like Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, emulators were on his computer that they found. That and like some weird porno poker game.
Oh,
yeah.
See,
so yeah. Real talk though, gamers responsible for 9/11.
They did it.
Hell yeah. That is our podcast. Thank you for listening. We look forward to your fan mail.
Excellent.
So I fucking dropped this video and I like passively kind of pick on him a little bit, but like in my mind it was always just like I was ribbing him. Right. I was just kind of like, just you said something stupid, I'm not gonna let you forget. And like, you know, when I think I had like less than 1,100 followers on Twitter, I had at the time less than 500 YouTube subs. So in my mind, it was like, he doesn't know I exist. So he drops the there's a silver lining to the Holocaust. And I got my buddy Devin, shout out to Devin Santee, who is a very talented musician. And I was just at work and I just messaged him when I just like read about it. And I'm like, hey, can you like make me a soulful song about how Boogie needs to shut the fuck up? And then the Shut the Fuck Up Boogie song came out. And it was really funny and everyone was having a good time. And then Boogie showed up in my mentions, like mad as fuck. But he was doing the I'm not mad, you know, I'm not fussed about this, but I'm really fucking mad. Like he was awesome. Fussed. Yeah.
That is the best part about Boogie. He acts like a really nice guy, but he's so sensitive that he can't help but get severely pissed off when you poke him.
Sorry, can we back up 1 second? And for me, this has been all on my periphery. I checked out some of your stuff, Matt, when
Thank you.
Alton mentioned it. And, you know, it's funny, but I would like a bare bones, who is Boogie? Why is he in our collective lives?
He's a gamer, and gamers are the most important people.
Indeed.
So he's
politicians.
A Twitch streamer.
He's a Twitch streamer, gamer. He vlogs. He's kind of like an OG YouTuber. I think his account is from like 2007.
I would say, basically, what Matt said, he started off incredibly early in the history of YouTube and had like one viral success very early on, which is like his Magic the Gathering video with Francis, where he basically just pretends to be a big dumb nerd who gets angry at things, which
Boogie is my favorite Francis character.
I'm aware of the Francis cracks. So he would do like the Francis character, and he was kind of back in the kind of like nostalgia critic era of like YouTube doofuses of, you know, just goofballs who would just go on and make these kind of like silly YouTube videos and like many of these people have grown to have absurd political opinions they're constantly talking about.
Oh, hell yeah. It's not nearly as cool as John Jafari going from like, yay, he's doing the bird videos, and now it's just like, oh, John, don't say that.
Okay, thank you. I feel like I'm a little caught up now because I wasn't sure about the origin.
Now we can go into a little bit more of Boogie as a person. So as we said before, I would say he's primarily famous for his vlogging. I've never bothered to watch his Twitch streams, and I never will. But as I said, I used to watch his videos relatively frequently. And basically, if you want to know the kind of person that Boogie is that he grew up essentially in a very abusive working class household. And so he has his fair share of demons. And unfortunately, one of the ways in which that manifests is that Boogie is basically a self-admitted coward. And it's very evident in pretty much every action he does, in that he is absolutely terrified of people not liking him. Which, as even with our pitiful, minuscule amount of internet success that we've had, we are aware that there's no way in hell on this sort of medium you can make everyone happy. So he's just got like one of the worst possible afflictions that you could have as somebody with a great deal of fame and influence, and that is responsibility, and the fact that doing the right thing sometimes makes you unpopular.
And I definitely want to add to this that, like, I know a lot of people who have gone through similarly what he's gone through. I know, like, people who've had shitty lives, and, like, lots of people have shitty lives and are broken in, like, a lot of different ways. They manage not to tweet it or retweet someone with fucking SS in their Twitter handle.
We'll get to that. But yeah, in general, I would say really what we're trying to do, or at least what I envisioned for this podcast, is we sort of dissect the Boogie phenomena and how that sort of relates to, like, the wider issue of, like, people who believe that centrism is somehow being smart.
Well, that wherever the middle is the smartest place to be.
Exactly.
The big brain. That's the big brain club.
I just wanted to get that out there that I'm not trying to, like, I don't know. I don't hate Boogie.
Well, I have been mean to him. Like, I especially in my first video, at one point I called him a useless sack of meat, which I never sat right with me. So, Boogie, if you're listening, I don't think you're a useless sack of meat. But don't defend Sargon of Akkad in the future.
Jesus Christ.
It sounds like he's a more sympathetic figure than a lot of these dipshits, like in comparison to Ant-Man or, I don't know,
Sargon.
Sargon, exactly. It seems like there's a more interesting texture at play here. But, like, when you have a big platform like that and you're blaming the death of Heather Heyer on Anita Sarkeesian, and you're saying the things about gay people that you say, and the things about the Holocaust that you say, you need to get shit. Like, you need to experience people telling you that this is not okay. And, like, well, I'm just trying my best to synthesize the smartest take isn't a defense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it just shows a void of empathy on his part in service of this cowardice, as you put it.
Brianne has weighed in on it so many times where her opinion of that is like, if you don't like it when you get an emotional response from people, you are unable to talk about emotional topics. So just don't. You don't get a seat at the table.
That is, like, the most significant thing about Boogie, is that he clearly has no fucking clue what he's talking about ever, especially when it comes to politics. And yet he still feels the need to weigh in every single time. Like, without fail, even on topics nobody was talking about, like the fucking Holocaust. Why? Why did you have to bring up the analogy of the Holocaust having, like, a silver lining?
Even as he was saying that, I'm pretty sure he's like, I know I'm going to get shit for it. And then he was surprised when he got shit for it. And it's like, What were you expecting, my friend? Like when we released the Shut the Fuck Up Boogie video, it was really just friendly advice. Like, just close your goddamn mouth.
Yeah, literally, John Jafari is arguably an even dumber, way worse person than Boogie. And I believe in recent months that John has learned the cardinal rule to shut the fuck up.
He has talked about it twice since it happened. Once when he released his My Response video, and another time on the H3 podcast. He kind of glazed over it.
I'm sure he did. H3 podcast seems like a fermenting ground for some fucking
reactionary bullshit.
I mean, like, they have fucking Joey Salads on there. They're not gonna grill Jontron, right?
Well, it sounds too like he's part of this big crew, which I would include H3, and of just like people with massive platforms that are unwilling to take any kind of like moral stand on the subject, and kind of like they argue, having Jordan Peterson on, even though he has, the horrific beliefs about women, is just asking questions, just talking to a popular figure, and that they shouldn't be criticized, or that they shouldn't, or I don't know, that there's some kind of gap of responsibility between what they do with their platform and what happens on it. I don't know. They
definitely don't understand the responsibility that comes with like 4 million eyes on you. Because Boogie goes on the H3 podcast and he's like, oh, well, gay people should have waited 10, 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years to get married. It's like, what?
It's like some fucking kid. It's like the South Park thing. And when you're in high school or junior high and you heard every kid had their political opinion was just South Park. It's like that. Some kid now, that's going to be his fucking political opinion. And he's probably going to carry that for a while. You did that. Like, just don't. It's damaging.
I mean, that's my take, is that usually when I see stuff like that on the H3 podcast or whatever version of that goes on and people are talking about it, I'm just like, a large number of the people who saw that are young, disaffected men, probably, who are, probably don't have a lot of connection to the outside world, and they're going to internalize that. When they get pushback, they're not going to understand why they're getting pushback because they listen to these dipshits. And I don't know, that's why I feel like very okay with making these kind of semi-dunk hunt type episodes about these people, just being like, fuck these people. Maybe there's something sympathetic about them, but you preach this to a large platform of many young people, you're doing harm. That's the long and the short of it.
And now that we've had our serious discussion, I'd like to get to actually reading some of the funny bullshit that Boogie gets himself into by being so fucking oblivious. So, this comes to us from Flying Over Trout, who unfortunately didn't want to come on to the podcast to even talk about Boogie at all.
They've got history.
Yeah. Boogie has been making the rounds, at least like last week or so, in that he quote tweeted somebody agreeing with him, and who would like to read this tweet out? It's very nice.
Oogie Boogie 2988 retweets someone with the comment, "It wouldn't hold your breath, but it is a nice fantasy." And what they're responding to is a tweet that says, "You give me faith that people might one day start respecting each other instead of turning anyone into a different opinion into an enemy." And that person is SS Chancellor of Funny SS.
And for reference, their avatar was a skeleton with an SS uniform. So
yeah, they were a Nazi.
Oh my god. Okay, his fucking description is amazing. Chancellor of Funny SS at Schultzfire. I'm not a fucking Nazi. This is all memes and shit. Don't attack Boogie because you can't tell what a joke is. Oh my god.
I'm convinced.
And then, he has so many tweets that are just like, I think it's ethnic cleansing time. Oh my god.
Did you see where Boogie got mad at me for this one?
Oh, I don't know if I did.
Oh, fuck. I'll see if I can find the thread for you. I'm sorry. There's going to be some tic-tacking here for a second.
No, that's fine. We'll keep reading out these incredibly good, awful tweets. And then here's another one from Chancellor Funny. Why is it neo-Nazis all have the same shades? Style is so fucking whack. Time to get back to the sexy-ass uniforms. Like, this is a person whose problem with neo-Nazis is that they don't wear actual Nazi uniforms.
Oh, God. Unfortunately, this is in common with... For a brief amount of time, I'm not sure if I talked about it on the pod, I had a roommate who was discovered to be a neo-Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
But he was very much like... But his argument for it it's just like, I just like the way that the flag looks. I like the way that the uniforms look. I think it's a very interesting style. And you have to just be like, okay, well, I'm going to start looking for apartments on Craigslist. And then one day I come in, he's day drunk watching Holocaust documentaries, taking notes going, this doesn't make sense.
Oh, no.
This is so true. I wish it wasn't.
I've got a link to the thread, and it's fucking wild. But at the end, someone else chimes in, and it's like, we're all like ganging up and trying to like confront him. And at one point, Boogie tells this other person who's chimed in that by criticizing Boogie and criticizing this kid who has his meme page or whatever, he is passively supporting people like Richard Spencer.
What?
I don't know.
Guide us through this
fucking galaxy brain shit.
The left are the real Nazis. That's what I keep hearing.
Definitely. Okay, so there's your tweet where you say, do you feel that retweeting a Nazi may have contributed to this dip? And then Boogie's just like, whoa, when did I do that? Oh wait, never mind, it's you again, Raffle. I thought you meant an actual Nazi and not just someone you disagree with. Phew! And then the picture of Chancellor of Funny SS.
I mean, SS.
Oh my god.
That means one thing.
And then he's like, I don't know if you have the ability to tell, but it's clearly a parody account. Here's what it currently looks like.
Without Nazi symbols.
And then, of course, the ultimate irony of Boogie retweeting this guy is that he ended up getting this fucker banned off of Twitter.
Yeah, the guy got banned and had to get rid of all the Nazi shit.
Oh my god, it's so fucking beautiful.
You know, I have to say they did get one thing right. Everyone that I disagree with, I call a Nazi. If you think Voyager is better than Deep Space Nine, you are a Nazi. If you find golf fun to watch, you are a Nazi. If you enjoy The Taste of Onions, you're a Nazi. It's just across the board.
Fuck, I'm a Nazi. I like onions.
No. Shrek liked onions.
Shrek's a Nazi.
Oh no.
Nazi.
Thumbnail achieved.
I do love Brianne, and I love her response to Boogie in this was, maybe we don't understand what makes it funny. Maybe you should explain the joke.
Oh,
the joke is
perfect for the
Holocaust.
That's the ultimate punchline. I mean, I honestly feel as though it's possible to joke about the Holocaust, but if you're a Nazi, it's not a fucking joke. Let's be real.
Yeah, but I mean, the joke would require, you know, a punchline and setup and some kind of like ironic juxtaposition to show, you know, whatever is humorous you're trying to commit. Just being like, Holocaust is legit. Knock that out of the comedy part. You're welcome.
Yeah. It's more like, haha, the Holocaust never happened. But wouldn't it be good if it did?
Jesus.
That's the joke. That's the joke every fucking time. It's just like they can't help but follow up that joke with just like, but wouldn't it be good if it was real?
But at that point it's not a joke. They're just testing the water.
I mean, that's like the whole thing Nazis do with humor is they don't actually give a shit about being funny. They just want to like test the waters and like they want to lure people in with like, ah ha ha, funny meme, but don't you want to believe it?
So here's where Boogie gets really galaxy brain.
Oh, good. Let's see what this is.
So Oogie Boogie 2988 says, we can go after the fucking jokes when you stop passively supporting Richard Spencer by picking on kids who make jokes instead.
Passively supporting Richard Spencer.
Boogie, you passively supporting Richard Spencer by picking on kids who make jokes instead? I guess he's implying that that kids are making Holocaust jokes now? Like, okay, and that you're supporting Richard Spencer by telling kids not to do that?
I think it's because we're focusing our energy away from Richard Spencer onto kids making jokes, because
I see.
I think Boogie doesn't have object permanence and doesn't understand that can focus energy at two things at once.
That's the only explanation that has made anything close to sense, because it's such a galaxy brain take.
It's really off the wall.
Yeah, but it's not surprising. That's the thing.
Well, he seems to have this idea that people shouldn't criticize him because he does stupid, bad things sometimes. Because there are people like Richard Spencer that he thinks deserves ire more than him. It's like somehow he thinks that he should be immune from criticism because there are worse people. You know, it's like I think it's like that joke we made a while ago, Reese, where it's just like you can't criticize anyone because they're literally not Hitler. You know what I mean?
Exactly. If you joke about anything other than Hitler, you're supporting Hitler.
Exactly.
And if you joke about Hitler in a negative way...
Why are you coming at Richard Spencer like that when you could be focusing on Hitler? Isn't Hitler worse? Passively supporting Richard Spencer by not directing your Twitter ire at Hitler.
You are supporting the vile Zelda by playing Mario.
That makes just as much sense, but okay.
I mean, that's my deeply held belief, so me and Boogie are on the same team now.
Oh no. Now you're a white nationalist.
So yeah, to summarize, the things that Boogie has done recently is that he said that there was a silver lining to the Holocaust because it fucking gave people bodies to experiment with to discover the limits of human hypothermia or whatever.
Hugely discredited myth.
And it just like and then he did the thing where he said Anita Sarkeesian and not Nazis was responsible for the death of Heather Heyer at like fucking Charlottesville.
Gay people should wait for 10 to 20 years for rights.
Yeah, gay people should wait 10 to 20 years for rights. I mean, honestly, and here's a great one from Boogie. It's like, also, I am white and have a penis, and many people seem to think that makes me innately at fault.
Oh my god!
I manage him like saying that to a room at a panel or something. Like next time he does his cyberbullying panel, he just gets up and says it in like a very robotic tone.
Oh my god!
God, that is a perfectly crafted opening to any statement.
It sounds like a drill tweet.
It really does.
Oh, here's the title of one of his fucking live streams. Sellout Sunday. Daddy needs shekels.
Oh god. Mm-hmm. And then like the one where we were all picking on him for the SS stuff he streamed that night, where his stream was titled like "Not a Nazi." Oh, come watch me not be a Nazi.
All right, if you want like some insight into how Boogie's mind works and just how pathetic he is as like a person, watch the video crossover of him and internet comment etiquette, where they go after like the anti-gay comments in one of Boogie's videos, which, you know, it's good fun. They like go after the people in his comments and he's like, oh yeah, I care about gay people, I'm not a monster, whatever. And then right at the end, it's just like, oh, and now these comments will go away, right? And then in our comment, it's like, nope. And then he gets like really upset and mad because like, you've ruined me. And then he makes a fake video where he apologizes to all the fucking hateful shitheads. He pretend apologizes, right? But to me, that is really indicative of how he actually works, in that he will support your right to live only so much as nobody fucking opposes him, and then he will immediately crumble.
I have a question for the two experts here. to what degree of all of this is him leaning into his business model, quote unquote? You know, I'm sure after Boogie gets screamed at, people want to swing by the next Twitch stream to see what he says or to see if the controversy continues. Is he that self-aware? Is that an element here?
I don't think he's that self-aware, but he definitely, like, when he says something heinous, people on the left are pissed off at him and like trying to call him on his bullshit. He gets hugboxed by right-wing people a lot. And that happens in his streams. You get like people posting Pepe memes and saying insanely racist stuff, but they're donating and they're like, it's okay, you didn't do anything wrong. So I will hand it to like the alt-right types on that. They definitely know how, which is not a good sentence to say. This is my Holocaust silver lining moment. They definitely know how to court him and like almost use his platform and shit like that, I guess. Like they just have to hugbox him every time he fucks up.
My God. And I think another thing to say about Boogie is that he is pretty much a gamergator.
Oh, 100%.
He is not like I said, he doesn't actually have the courage to come out and say that at all. But he firmly believes that it was actually about ethics and it wasn't just a smokescreen to harass people, which is an interesting issue. There's a very good video that I am struggling to remember who made it at this moment, but it basically talks about how there are two different types of the Gamergator crowd. People who genuinely believed it, and then those who used those people essentially as a screen of legitimacy to...
The Total Biscuit crowd.
Use that as a screen of legitimacy to just harass people and be miserable shitheads. And it's a very, very good video. If I can remember what it is, I will link it in the show description.
I remember like seeing a tweet recently where it's like someone was like outright asking Boogie to denounce Gamergate, and he was just like having a meltdown, being like, "You know, I'm against like harassing people. Why are we even having this conversation?" It's like, just say it. Just say it, bro. Say Gamergate was bad.
I mean, anybody who does an Anidia Sarkeesian pull at this point in history, who is not like a follower of niche feminist YouTube channels, is definitely in some way, shape, or form supporting some of the more heinous elements. Because mostly, you know, there was a groundswell of support after the insane harassment, but nobody really on the left is like linking her videos or anything like that. The heat's died down, and I think that's how Feminist Frequency likes it. But the people who still have that hate, that inner hatred from 2014, that they can't let go of that grudge, they'll still let it slip out every now and again.
I do want to say that, like, I don't think Boogie is, like, a bad person. And, like, to be honest, I was just kind of ribbing him. But he needs like, a fucking wake-up call. That's all.
He needs a fucking PR manager and not the one from GOG.
My final thought is just basically to kind of re-underscore the idea of that centrist, no matter what the Overton window is, being in the center of it, being smart, is like an incredibly, I don't know, it's just a loathsome kind of like tactic to just not have any responsibility for the bad opinions that you have, because you're framing it as empathy, and I find that to be, but it's honestly vile, because it's a tactic to excuse some of the worst things. And I wish I had a good joke to encapsulate this, but that's my thought, and everything I see with him is just like, I see the tragedy within Boogie, but like it's just gross.
Yeah, Boogie is sort of the tragic character that we must fight, not because he is necessarily bad, but because he has no fucking clue what he's doing, and in flailing and thrashing around in his ignorance, he is causing more damage than any kind of good. I would just like to read this one line from when we were talking about him in PM, and where I said that he's basically the Pokemon It Hurt Itself in Confusion of people. Which I think is very true. It just seems like he's always just opening his mouth and inserting both feet directly inside.
All right, and with that, I think that's it for the Boogie 1488 sentiment.
We should move on to our next topic, which honestly, I just wanted to bring this up as like a contrast to Boogie, is somebody in the elevated, famous gamer sphere saying something that isn't shitty and fucking pissing off all of his disgusting troglodyte fans, which is, of course, Markiplier. Now, I have no idea what Markiplier's political positions are, if he's ever expressed them before, but essentially, recently he tweeted out this. 3 simple truths. 1. I am untall. 2. I am tall-int. 3. You can't define trans people out of existence. Which I think is a good sentiment, and I think it's good that Markiplier has stepped outside of his little gamer zone to make a statement like this.
And like he's a Let's Player. He's got a lot of like young fans that hang on to every word he says, and like, you know, that's a good thing to say.
Markiplier, I would say, in an interesting fashion, I've also watched Markiplier before and watched some of his videos and some of his life story. And I would say that where Boogie has the capacity to be a good person, but is overall too cowardly and inept to actually follow through with that, because he crumbles the minute he meets opposition. Surprisingly, that's only when it's attacks from the right, never when it's from the left, for whatever reason. We know why. But Markiplier is the sort of person I would say he's like a genuinely good person, and I would say that this tweet is at least some indication of that fact, and that I'm sure he knew he was going to get shit for this, but he probably didn't care.
Yeah, I mean, I only kind of know Markiplier vaguely as just like a gaming personality brand more so than anything else.
Mm.
So other than that, this is really the only personal kind of touch I've seen from him, and impossible to argue with. It's pretty good that somebody to actually speak up, because not very often that we see brands, even though the brand is a person in this case, which probably makes it easier, we so often don't get these kind of underscoring, just like basic statements of kind of like, this is the moral line here, if you don't like it, fuck off. And I don't think that he didn't say that, but that's implied a little bit with the kind of like definitiveness of the statement.
Yeah, I mean, like there was, to contrast this, there was a tweet by Shoe on Head that I definitely made fun of her for, and the language she used, like she was obviously shocked and upset by it, but it was kind of like, oh, if this happens, it'll erase trans people, and it's like kind of not making it definitive, and kind of not really taking a stance.
Shoe on Head is another one of the people I would say are absolutely dipshit centrists who almost always lean right when it push comes to shove. And yet, in that instance, she was very much acting all shocked and offended by what was happening.
By a byproduct of what she has made her small fortune on.
Mm-hmm. I believe that there was somebody who like took screen caps of like that tweet versus something she had said earlier as a sort of ironic twist.
She said right after or during the lead up to Trump being elected. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
But it basically saying, well, we don't know. You like to make all these assumptions about Trump because you're closed-minded liberals. And obviously, to anybody in this call, it was obvious how, straightforward that the Republican platform he was going. Mike Pence was his vice president, who, that's done horrific things against gay and trans people, literally has blood on his hands because in his camps, his re-education camps, say it's better to commit suicide than be gay. So it's just these people don't want to look even a little bit into that. They just have to have the, oh, come on, you don't know, he hasn't explicitly said it, even though it's really fucking obvious. And then just like the fake shock afterwards, or just, I don't know, maybe she is that dumb, but I don't know.
As Matt would say, both sides, both sides.
For her, I think if she she knows that she is, like, if she were to come out and be like, fuck Trump and fuck conservatives, that's like 75k subs out the window.
Pretty much. I mean, her boyfriend's an unrepentant Trump apologist chud.
Yeah.
Who, of course, once it started becoming obvious that Trump was deeply, deeply unpopular and also just completely stupid as shit and borderline incoherent, the logical cuirass. Fucking, he had to come out and be like, oh, well, he started doing the centrism bullshit too. Which, honestly, what was his fucking name again? The logical armor man?
The armored skeptic.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah. His avatar is like a knight in armor, but he's got like the eyebrow cocked a little bit somehow. His eyebrow
cocked and he's in a fucking suit?
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's so fucking cringy.
Oh man, you guys are really inspiring me to bring back the incel Pope.
So yeah, the incel logic armor has also been making overtones to the logical sane middle, where they magically both sides are the same and they're both bad, and what we really need is compromise. And of course, none of these people have voted for like a Democrat in their life, probably.
There was a whole thing, right when Trump was elected. H3H3 says it, Sky Williams says it, who is not quite as bad, but definitely is leaning in that spectrum. It's just like everybody has to say is like, well, listen, is it so wrong to hope that he's a good president? Is it so bad to think that maybe things might turn out to be better? And it's just like, no, but don't be fucking stupid. Like, read the room. Like, just take a look for a second. It's such a like cowardly, like outward, just being like, well, we gotta rally around the president because this is our country.
God,
and it's just like,
I love my big wet president who eats nothing but McDonald's Happy Meals for every meal of the day. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but he doesn't eat the bun, so it's healthy.
God, you're right. I've been owned.
The important thing is that he likes to honk the horn on the truck.
He acts like a fucking 5-year-old. He eats the fucking Happy Meals. He honks the horn. God. It's incredible. We live in the most incredible of times.
I'm really happy I'm not an American person some days.
Oh, really? Are you in the Canada?
I am. All we got is Prime Minister Michael Scott, and he's not that bad. He's a fucking neo-lib. Like, I don't know what to expect.
It's better than this.
Yeah.
Like, comparatively, we certainly love criticizing the neolibs around here, but, like, comparatively, it's things are so bad here, is just be like, you look at Canada, and you're just like, please
invade us.
Maple syrup, daddy.
Please invade us. Please
take me away.
Please burn down the White House again.
Yeah, you have our permission to launch a war on the United States, by the way. Just get it done.
I'll go do that tomorrow. I'll be the first one.
President Xi, you may fire when ready.
Bring it up at the meeting.
I'll bring it up at the next Canada meeting.
Excellent. Well, we've covered that topic. So last on our list of delicious, juicy topics is, of course, Red Dead Redemption. And, oh my god, despite the fact that gamers were not less than a week ago getting mad at the game for including black cowboys, now they cannot help but defend it if it gets like a 9 out of 10. Honestly,
no.
Honestly, just gets worse every fucking year. Like, I remember when it was like, oh, they got mad at like a 7 out of 10. Then they started getting mad at 8 out of 10s. Now it's gotten to the point where you can literally give a game 9 out of 10, and some people will still be fucking furious.
Well, one, I think, notable wrinkle to this, too, is that, in general, big AAA drops like this are less common because they're so expensive, and like games as a service is a thing that, you know, Grand Theft Auto used to be Rockstar would have something again in a couple years, but they could just keep getting value out of those shark cards. So the gamers don't have the same amount of meat to sink their teeth into. So when they have a big moment like that, they just kind of freak the fuck out about it.
And boy, howdy have they ever. We've got so many like little things here. Would you like to guide us through this, Mr. Reese? I believe you compiled most of these.
I'm going to read this one from Mr. Gehab first because I think it is it's, I don't know, I love it.
Okay.
So GameSpot gave Red Dead Redemption 2 a 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And this here, I won't read the tweet because the tweet gives it away, but Sashwat4 responds, I expected a 9 as soon as I heard a female voice.
Oh my god. The like to dislike ratio is insane. Oh my god. It's
1-to-1.
Literally, it's like 500 upvotes to 500 downvotes on a video which gave this game a 9 out of 10.
What the fuck is wrong with these people?
Oh my god. I'm gonna link it so you can look directly at it.
I don't want to. I don't want to look it in the eyes.
No, where's the Keepo Man tweet? Okay, and this, I think this guy is from DBHQ, and he has checking in on the gamer's reaction to a 3.5 out of 5 score.
Oh boy. Little Jojo says, remove your review now!
Decorda says, rubbish of analysis. This mediocre magazine only gains visibility when it makes these dirty clickbaits. Deplorable journalists and a relevant site clone.
Little Jojo says, remove your review!
Little Jojo says,
fuck you! Remove your review, bitch! And that's word for word. Fuck you, remove you review, bitch.
And then Mario also says, remove the review.
Oh, damn, Mario's on the case now, son. Oh, Ed Butler. Oh, fucking hell. These little bootlickers. You want to read this one?
So this is the review that's knocking the Metacritic down to 97. Your career as a reviewer is over. Lost all credibility. You, sir, are a bellend.
Oh my god.
Holy guacamole.
People who are obsessed with the fucking Metacritic score are the worst. Like, they are the lowliest form of gamer. Like, literally harassing people because they're like, you're the one that's bringing it down to a 97, an incredibly high score, but you are ruining it.
Can I just, like, say that, like, these are the same gamers that, like, a couple years ago that they were concerned about ethical practice, video game journalism. Like these fucking, to be a video game journalist, like, you have to be braver than a police officer. Like,
braver than the troops.
Braver than the troops.
And Chris Plant of Polygon was talking about, since so many review bonuses are tied to a Metacritic score, that it's really only the, like, kind of weird or enthusiast press even bothers to put a Metacritic review down, because any site that's semi-reputable and is afraid they might review a game badly, like, doesn't want to, like, fuck with people's bottom lines. So it's funny too from this end of that it's already, like, spun positive by an absurd degree, but the rage continues. All right, and I have dibs on the worst one. Oh
all
my
right.
god!
Oh, James
so
Henley.
Good. James Henley says, "We know the guy's name. And with 5 minutes of searching, you can even learn what he looks like and the approx area of where he lives. Sooner or later, he gonna be walking around some true gamers, and that is the time to punish this loser.
What?
This fake gamer who writes clickbait articles to get attention. Let's just go find him and show him real gamer attention.
Holy shit.
That's a fucking death threat.
Oh my god.
You like Cowboy Game more, or I'm gonna get you.
So really,
were they socialized as children?
for
going from dumbass to straight up criminal in our salt mine segment.
Can't fucking deal. Cannot fucking deal.
Just amazing. This person thinks that like true gamers are like, I have no fucking clue. Like,
that it's gonna be like Inglourious Bastards, and the true gamers are all gonna show up to fight the gaming journalists.
Yeah, that's a fancy Kotaku uniform you've got on there. And then you're gonna take it off at some point. Oh my god.
He needs those SJW scalps.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So thank you, James. Thank you to Keepo Man for these responses, and thank you for following me on Twitter.
Hell yeah. God, there's so many good ones. And I think that we'll wrap up tonight.
Well, I want to just
sure
underscore the one Metacritic comment from EGM's review. And this is the tone you have to give Red Dead Redemption to please the gamers. And listen, if you enjoy Red Dead Redemption 2, I haven't played it. You know, I have my suspicions that I won't like it, but if you're having a good time, that's great. But this is absurd. One of the most gorgeous, seamless, rootinest, tootinest games ever made. And if you voluntarily miss out on it, you're either not a gamer or in a coma.
Oh no, they're gonna take my fucking gamer card away.
Oh no.
How am I gonna get me and my true gamer friends to assault people?
Exactly.
Technically speaking, I'm actually just in a coma, and you're all figments of my imagination.
I suspected.
Yeah, I know. That's my explanation for this. Before we started this one, we recorded a little mini-sode before this where I said to everyone, fuck Red Dead Redemption 2, play Baldur's Gate instead. Which I'm sure will be a very popular sentiment with all the real gamers out there.
Good advice.
Hell yeah. So, man, video games, everyone. Video games.
Take them away.
For real.
Video games are over.
We have an opinion on video games. It's a mystery what they are, but it might be found. A clue might be found in the title.
Indeed. Do we have anything more to say about Red Dead Redemption 2, Boogie, or what have you? Because I would like to get to this very juicy bit.
No, I mean, I haven't played it. I haven't really seen anything that much on it. It's just observing, you know, their Film Crit Hulk had a really hilarious tweet thread of him. Like, I'm not even that big of a fan of that guy, but it was really funny. It just like him raging for like 36 hours about how much he hated that game. And then I guess Hulk smashed his PS4, and that was the end of that.
Nice.
But that was also the conversation where the guy from Polygon, Chris Plant, was talking about how they don't even want to have anything to do with Metacritic, or how you know, even reviews in general are just such a like weird ass minefield because, you know, the enthusiast press dominates and is kind of just like absurd to try to deal with in general.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that Rock Paper Shotgun has honestly got doing the right thing in that they don't give out fucking review scores. I honestly think that's the best way to get around this issue of gamers losing their mind over a number, because there are no gamers that have the attention span to read a full fucking review, let's be honest here. And so if you fucking are critical of Red Dead Redemption 2, do it in a text format that they're gonna not be able to parse, because they're just looking for that number at the bottom and they want that number to be 10. Like, you could literally say anything in your review as long as the number at the bottom is 10.
Giant Bomb is doing something interesting now, where they still have it out of 5 stars, and they still have like a write-up, but they have like an element of it where the review write-up comes from a discussion that they have. That's like a 40-minute kind of video discussion. It's like, Jeff Gerstmann, Brad Shoemaker, and whoever's doing the review is there. And they're kind of just having like a back and forth. And like 2 of them are kind of like being very critical and asking questions, kind of like from a more interrogative space rather than just letting one person just kind of like spin off what he thinks. The one that I watched was for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and like I'm probably not going to get that game, and I think from what I look at it, I'm going to disagree with what Alex Navarro's take was, but I was having those other people pull that information out of him and ask him those questions made me appreciate his position so much more than just like, hey, I like this. I like it when man goes stab. I like climbing on dicks.
To be fair, that would be what my reviews would be like. I like gun. Gun, shoot, bang, bang, bug dead. That's my review of Earth Defense Force 4.1, by the way. Highly recommended. 10 out of 10.
This podcast is about to dissolve because I can't believe you just plagiarized my review of Starship Troopers.
Fuck.
Damn. For your EDF review.
Wow, cool space gun society. Not fascist at all. Cue the picture of like the bullet going over somebody's head.
was that Sargon recently who was posting about Starship Troopers and it was clear he didn't understand?
Basically, he said Starship Troopers' fascist system was great.
Fuck.
It's so it's so delightful.
Good job, Sargon.
Oh my fucking god. It's way worse than I remember it. Here it is. Karl Marx BTFO'd in Starship Troopers. So let's wrap things up. I want to read first this delightful tweet from our Lord and Savior @Drill on Twitter. And he says, "Look, I'm not saying that Martin Luther King Jr. was a gamer. That would be ludicrous. I'm simply saying that if games had existed at the time," and then it trails off.
Oh my god.
And then one of the good follows I have, @Cranboonitz, a very spooky druid on Twitter, responds with this incredible screen cap from Oliver Campo, where he says, "Watching the people and conversation within #GamerGate, it is actually the closest I've ever seen," all caps, "to MLK's dream in the world."
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, no.
We're breaking Matt. Oh, I think we broke Matt with the criminal threat tweet.
I had something to bring up and it's gone now. I can't stop staring at this Oliver Campbell picture.
It's like a black hole that just sucks you into the void.
I gotta scroll up. I don't want to look at it anymore. Oh, I was gonna bring the. Do you guys remember like Justin Bieber like got in a bunch of shit like years ago because he was saying Anne Frank would have been a believer?
Yeah, I remember that.
And they were like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Yeah, she was alive. She would have been a believer."
I mean, I think that we should start making grand statements like that about our podcast.
Anne Frank will listen to your podcast.
If Anne Frank were alive right now, she would fucking hate gamers.
What do you think Nelson Mandela listened to in prison?
Our podcast sent from the future.
And now that we've had our own incredible hot takes, let's end this episode. So, Matt, thank you for coming on the pod. First of all, it was a delight having you here.
Thank you for having me.
Taking down Boogie once and for all, and talking about the completely rational, insane world of gamers and how they respond to lower than average scores of their delicious treats, their video games.
What I've learned about gamers is they don't like low numbers and they might like Nazis. Who's to say?
So where can people find you and your great work on the internet?
They can find us at www.youtube.com/Brianne and Matt or on Twitter at Brianne and Matt, where if they at me, I will send them Garfield pornography.
Oh,
excellent.
That's a threat, not a promise.
Oh, okay.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Full caller. It's a dope YouTube channel. I highly suggest you check it out. It's very fun.
Yeah. So, what was the title of your video starring Boogie?
The first video was Boogie 2988 in the logical sane middle.
An excellent video. We'll link it in the podcast description. Check it out if you want, and it's very memorable, very quotable. You will instantly be converted to the ways of centrism when you hear Boogie break down just how incredibly logical and sane the middle is. And so, Reese, where can people find you and your great online content?
You can follow me at Your Very Good Bud on Twitter, and that's it. Nowhere else.
Yes, and you can find the Twitter for the podcast at VGATWTOE, where we are tweeting out the episodes and various gamer goofs and gaffes, and also just our opinions on old video games, which are very important, I'm sure you're aware, where we will be posting things like fuck the new cowboy game, play Baldur's Gate instead, or play Wizardry 1 instead.
People who beat Wizardry 4 are braver than the collective American troops in World War II.
This is not a controversial take at all. I do not expect to be added for this.
Wizardry 4 is really fucking hard.
All right, and you can also find our podcast website at videogamesarethewordpinecast.co.
And please go to one of those goofy iTunes, Google, whatever sites, and rate us. I hear it helps us out, and so I'm just going to say this every episode now.
And we promise that if you give us less than a 10 out of 10, we will not lose our minds.
I will.
Yeah, Matt will.
I'm gonna make a call of violence.
He will be the one responding to with like true podcasters will gang up on you and show you real podcast attention.
Matt will visit the home of every person who reviews us 4 out of 5 stars.
Gonna get you.
And you can find me at 8alton8 on Twitter or at altonplays on YouTube. So thank you very much for watching. We will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye, everyone.
Farewell.
I don't know what's the opposite of howdy, partner.
Farewell, Goofus.
Bye.